Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1. Meet Dunk, a big lad who has spent his life as a squire, and his old knight Ser Arlen of Pennytree has just died. But before he died, Ser Arlen knighted him, so now he's Ser Dunk, and he's ready to make a name for himself at the grand tournament being held nearby. Problem is, this is too big a tournament with famous knights from noble houses, which Ser Dunk is not. Ser Arlen was what they call a hedge knight, a freelance wandering knight who, because they're broke all the time, mostly sleep out by the hedges under trees. It's a beautiful life in many ways, but it's a blurred line between a knight and a hobo with a horse and sword. And Dunk may be the latter. It's left ambiguous if Ser Arlen actually knighted Dunk before he died, or if he kinda never got around to it. If Dunk wants to enter the tournament, he needs to find another knight that will vouch that this Ser Arlen even existed. So Dunk starts asking the other knights and lords that he and Ser Arlen had served over the years, but none of them remember him or even care to try. He probably should have led with Ser Arlen was the old man with the unreasonably big dick, but that didn't seem proper. Earlier, on his way to the tournament, Dunk met a precocious young stable boy. He's a funny kid who makes fun of Dunk. Are you sure you're a knight? You don't look like a knight. He wanted to go with Dunk and be his squire, but Dunk turned him down for now. Tonight, when Dunk goes home to his tree, yes, the kid has followed him here. He says his name is Egg, presumably because of his shaved head, and he helps Dunk realize Ser Dunk is not a name for a knight. He doesn't have any accomplishments yet, but he is a big guy, and so henceforth he'll be named Ser Duncan the Tall. Ser Duncan sees himself in this kid, a poor orphan who had no one before Ser Arlen took him in, so it's like, all right, Egg, you can be my squire. Now, this tournament is a huge party, and Dunk makes a friend tonight, Raymond Fossaway, a minor cousin of a noble house, but that's enough to get Dunk into one of the cool lord's tents. This one belongs to Lord Lionel Baratheon, yes, ancestor of King Robert from Game of Thrones. They call him the Laughing Storm, because he's a crazy, fun-loving guy who throws the best parties in the realm. Dunk is in the right place at the right time to accidentally become best friends with Sir Lionel. Unfortunately, he can't vouch for Dunk. He didn't know Ser Arlen. The next morning, the royal party arrives. Yes, the Targaryen House of the Dragon. And this is Dunk's last chance because Prince Baelor actually knew Ser Arlen. They jousted in a tourney once. And Baelor remembers him. Old man with the huge hog? Yeah, enormous. So with the prince vouching for him, Dunk's allowed to enter the tourney. And so it is great times as Dunk and Egg enjoy the first few days of the tournament. And these two develop a hilarious relationship. As his mentor, Egg assumes that Dunk is going to give him some life advice, but he doesn't. He's like, I got no advice to give. But Dunk is wise in the ways of camping out under a tree, and it's a really cozy, fun show as Dunk and Egg just hang out. Their favorite event of the tournament is the puppet show with some impressive dragon pyrotechnics. Egg loves it because he's a kid, and Dunk loves it because he's instantly smitten with the puppeteer Tansel. Ser Duncan needs his own coat of arms, so he asks her to paint his shield, and he tries to flirt with her, which he's not really good at. Now, Prince Baelor Targaryen, heir to the Iron Throne, is a really good stand-up guy. His brother Maekor is not bad, but kind of a douche in the way that most royals are. And Maekor is worried right now because two of his sons went missing on the way to the tournament. But his other son is here, Aerion Brightflame. Unfortunately, he's a mega douche. In fact, he's downright cruel. In his joust, he intentionally aims for his opponent's horse. Oh, bad form. Not a good look for House Targaryen. And he causes even more trouble at the puppet show. It's the story of a dragon slayer, which is all well and good, but since dragons are the symbol of the royal house, if you're a douche, you could construe it as treason. So Aerion's gonna punish Tansel, but Dunk won't let that happen. He runs up and punches this guy right in the face. Unfortunately, punching a prince is definitely actually treason, and so Dunk's going to be executed. His squire Egg runs up, hey, let go of him. And surprisingly, they actually do? That's right, Egg is Aegon Targaryen, who shaved his head to hide his distinctive white hair, one of the missing princes who ran off to have some fun. He was traveling with his older brother Daeron, who is a worthless drunk. We learn that Daeron has prophetic dreams, and that's why he's always drinking himself into a stupor. And to get himself out of trouble for losing his little brother, he claims that Dunk kidnapped Egg. Egg, of course, vouches that Dunk's innocent, but Daeron won't take it back. He's like, yeah, sorry, bro. Aerion wants Dunk executed, but Baelor knows Aerion was in the wrong and Dunk was just protecting the innocent. But still, there has to be a trial, and Dunk's best shot of getting justice is a good old trial by combat. The hope is, instead of putting his life on the line, Aerion will just back down. But instead, he ups the ante. Fine, let's make it a trial of 7. What's a trial of 7? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an ancient, outdated custom that because there are 7 gods, if you have 7 champions fighting each other, it's even better than 1v1. In practice, of course, it's worse because it risks the lives of 14 people for Aerion's petty pride. So Dunk has to find 6 friends to fight with him, or he's automatically found guilty. Dunk doesn't have 6 friends, but his one friend, Raymond Fossaway, points out that a lot of people hate the Targaryens. In fact, he goes on an apple cider fueled rant about how they're incestuous aliens and half of them go crazy crazy and burn people with their dragons. All good points. His other friend, Ser Lionel Baratheon, hates the Targaryens too, and he's recruited a couple friends eager to put that douche Aerion in his place. Raymon's cousin, Ser Steffon Fossaway, said he'd fight for Dunk too, but at the last minute he ditches him because Aerion bribed him with the lordship. So Ser Lionel knights Raymond to take his cousin's place. But Team Dunk still needs one more. He makes an impassioned speech to the assembled knights. Are there no true knights among you? But now it's this, a true knight is riding in, and it is none other than Baelor Targaryen. I will take Ser Duncan's side. Yes, such a good guy, willing to go against his family to fight for justice with Dunk. So it's time for the Trial of 7, one of the most intense action sequences in Game of Thrones history. Unfortunately, Dunk immediately takes a lance to the gut. Yeah, the training these noble knights have had is really that much better. So Dunk fights valiantly, but he's way outclassed, and soon Dunk is down. While he's down, we get a flashback to Dunk's rough life on the streets, where, long story short, his best friend was killed. But before they could kill Dunk too, he was saved by a noble knight, Ser Arlen of Pennytree. Well, maybe not so much noble, as blackout drunk and accidentally stumbled into this alleyway. Ser Arlen did not take Dunk at first, so Dunk just kind of followed him until eventually he collapsed. But then Ser Arlen took pity on him and said, "Get up." Now in the present, Egg yells for Dunk to get up too, and yes, Dunk does. He's not out yet. Aerion is still the better fighter, but now Dunk gets him on the ground, where his superior size and strength lets him beat him up. Aerion has to yield, so against all odds, Ser Duncan the Tall has won the Trial of 7. Baelor comes to congratulate him. You're a good man, Ser Duncan. The realm needs good men. So it looks like it's a happy ending, but Baelor took a blow to the head, and when they remove his helmet, turns out it's worse than he thought. The back of his skull was completely crushed. His helmet was the only thing holding his brains in. Oh no, Baelor dies. The realm needs good men, and he was the best of them. So instead of a joyous victory, it's an incredibly depressing funeral. As king, Baelor could have done incredible good for the realm. Instead, he died to save Dunk, who is a nobody. Not everyone's depressed though. Lionel Baratheon is jovial as ever, and Sir Raymond Fossaway is having a great time. He got laid last night and instantly married her. He was disowned by his cousin, so he's starting his own branch of House Fossaway with a green apple instead of a red. Egg still wants to be Dunk's squire, so there's an idea for Dunk to serve House Targaryen so he can train Egg while they train him. It sounds pretty good, but Dunk doesn't like it. It's like, look man, no offense, but all your sons have turned out to be douchebags. Let me take Egg out as a Hedge Knight, where instead of being raised as a spoiled castle prince, he'll learn to be a good person. His dad's like, no, absolutely not, that's ridiculous. But as Dunk is leaving, Egg comes running up. My dad changed his mind, I'm coming with you, sir. Although of course we learn his dad did not change his mind, Egg just ran off again. So Dunk and Egg are reunited, ready to find their next adventure while traveling the 7 kingdoms. Although of course Egg points out there's technically 9 kingdoms, something that has been bothering Game of Thrones fans since the very beginning. And that's where A Knight of the 7 Kingdoms Season 1 comes to an end. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.